Hello everyone and welcome to Code Escuela, and in this episode we are going to take a look at how I built the calculator app with Blazor. So let's jump right in. So this project started as a Blazor web app template, and so this is just a very basic uh, calculator application. So there's not much code here aside from the template code on the top and then the methods that make the buttons or the functionalities work. So there are three methods that have resulted while I created or built this application. And as you can see, it's already running here. The top one is our Blazor calculator app, and then the bottom one is the Microsoft calculator, the built-in calculator within Windows 11. And yeah, as you can see, there's a bit of a difference here, since what I was trying to do is just the basic functions like the four basic operators, and then some other functions here like the applying the percentage, positive negative, and then decimals, right? And then also this clear all and clear entry functions. All right, so I did not opt to create these other functions that you can see here in the Microsoft calculator. So to prevent any complexities in the application. Okay. So uh, in our code, I've used a basic table to lay out our calculator. So in each of these buttons, they are contained within the table rows. So we have four rows with four columns. I mean, one, two, three, four, five rows with four columns. Okay, so uh, displaying the numbers, the operators, including the equal button, and then we have also the clear entry, percent, positive negative, and then the decimal. Okay, so I first started with uh, working on the inputs. So the inputs for the numbers and the operators. As you can see, I have mapped the on-click event here for our button. So like for example, like this one, we have the numbers here. So as you can see, I have mapped it to the SendInput method, which would perform the storing of our numbers and operators. Okay. So let's inspect the SendInput method. So this is the main uh, code for the SendInput. So it receives an input, which is in this case is a string. And so the first part or section here is that we will try to store the input values, the first and the second values. So with this one, I just first have to do a try parse so that we can make sure that then the input that we are receiving is a number. All right, and so if the input isn't an operator, which is in this case this plus, minus, multiply, and divide operators, then we will store it as a value of the first number. Okay, so if you notice that I've stored the first and second values, which is named input number 1 and input number 2 respectively, as strings. All right, since we are not yet performing any actual operations on them, we're just storing their values. All right, and then in this part, this next if statement, we will try to display the inputted numbers. Okay, so if I'll do a little demo here. So if we press whatever number here, so you can see that yeah, you can see the numbers being inputted, much like the calculator or the Microsoft calculator here, right? So it goes through, the inputs go through this part to store the either the first value or the second value. Okay, so now next would be storing the operators. All right, so with for the operators, it will go through this switch statement. So the first four main operators are getting filtered through this case. So I have several cases for uh, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And then if that is inputted, then we will first calculate the result if there is any. We will visit this one a little later, and then we will store the operator in this input operator variable, which is again a string. All right, and then it exits out of this one. All right, and then see here, if you click on the plus, it gets stored in the input operator, and then we can enter again another number. You see that it clears out but still displays the results, okay, like on the Microsoft calculator. 456. All right, so yeah, next would be dealing with decimal numbers, or decimal, or numbers that would require a decimal point. All right, so this is handled in this case. So if you input a plus, I mean the this dot button here, then, and press a number, it will just be displayed as part of the number itself. So the number becomes a decimal number. All right, so that happens within this case. So we check if there is uh, an input operator, and if it's none, which means that it is for the first value, or else it will be for the second value. So the decimal operator, I mean the decimal uh, sign here, sorry if I'm not being so specific here, yeah, forgive me for this one, but yeah, we will just append the value to our already existing uh, input value, or value either 1 or value 1 or the value 2. All right, and then it will just be appended. Okay, so you have that one, and next would be handling uh, the percent sign. Okay, but let's just skip that one for a moment, since much more a bit more complicated. Okay, so let's go to handling the positive and a negative number. So if we go through the calculator here, let's just clear this one. If you have 5, you press number 5, then you click this one, then it will apply the, I will convert the number into positive or negative. All right, so the same thing that happens here. Press 5, positive, I'm negative or positive. All right, depending on what it was before. So it's handled here. So you notice that it is outside of the switch statement, since yeah, we are dealing with a string here. So I've opted to do it inside an if. Okay, so within this if the operator, so this one has been assigned to this button, the positive negative button. We send an input with a parameter of negative. So now it is handled within this if statement, and then we will just set the sort of like a flag variable that we will store later, so that we can make use of it later within this if statement. So within this if statement, we'll check if the value is we're dealing with the first number or the second number. All right, so if it is the first number, then we will just need to put the negative sign or minus sign or symbol or character in front of our input number. All right, so same thing goes with for the second number. Okay, so that's how we do that here. So that is how the positive negative button is being applied to our numbers. All right, and then let's go through the CE one, the CE button. So the CE button here is also being handled in the SendInput method. All right. Within the SendInput, again, it is handled within this if statement at the bottom. All right. So we either, if we will try to clear up the value depending on what value is present. If the first value is present on input number 1, then we will clear that one out. We set it as an empty, and then yeah, set it the result to 0 so that it gets displayed as 0. Like for this one, if you clear entry, okay, you have here a breakpoint. It will go through here. Let's go through here first, and then yeah. So the number 1, which in this case is already set to -5, then we will just empty that out as the value, and then the resulting would also be set to 0. If we continue, then the result will be outputted as 0. So same thing if uh, you've entered the value for the second number. So if we do 1 plus 2, and then if we click on the CE button, the second number would be cleared out. All right. So that's how it goes. Next would be the clear all. Clear all would be a simpler one. So if we click on 2, 6, the clear all, then yeah, all of the stored values for our numbers and operator will be cleared out, and also the result will be set to 0. All right. So now let's go and look at the calculate result. So the calculate result is being handled by this equal button. So this one. So this is the second method that we will take a look at. Calculate result. And so with this one, we first check here in the if statement if there are values for our first and second number and the operator. So since we cannot perform any operations if one of those pieces are missing, all right? And so if we verify that all of the 3 elements are present or not empty, then we make sure that we can parse them as numbers, all right? And if we do, then we go through this switch statement that handles depending on the operator that is being stored or being applied. All right. So each one is just returned as the result of its operation. Okay. You have the addition, subtraction, I mean, multiplication and division, and then yeah, the rest would be just not being handled. Okay. So that is our calculate result. So I think we have covered most of it, except for one thing though, is that we have almost missed this one. So handling the percent operator, all right, or the percent button. So this one took me some time to find an answer for this one. So if you head out to, let's open our browser, and if you search for how the percent key work on a calculator, then you will, the thing that I found helpful was this one, this article. This is a bit old already, since it's like been article has been created since 2008, but this one is very helpful in solving this issue. So you can read through all of that, but what we are only concerned here, or our key thing that we need to take note of here, is this one. So when the user enters a value, an operator, a second value, and then the percent key, the first 2 values are multiplied and the product divided by 100, and that result replaces the second value in the ongoing computation. So it has an example here of how the algorithm would work if you apply it in your code. And so yeah, so if you will try to follow this one, like for example 72 plus 5, and then you apply the percent operator, then you'll end up with 3.6. Now the 3.6 becomes the second value. So it is stored in our variable for that second value. And then if we click on this equal, it would give us the final result, which is 75.6. All right. Now you can do as many as many operations of the percent. So you can also chain them together. So if we do this one again, 72 minus 20%. So you have already your intermediate result of 14.4, and then we add a plus, and then it gets calculated as 57.6. Again, it's the new intermediate result, and then we click on the 5 and then apply the percent operator, which results in 2.88, and then finally we get the result of all of these calculations, which gives us 60.48. Almost as close. So forgive me if I have not fixed this one, but yeah. So this data is calculations are performed in the double data type. But yeah, I think we're close enough. Okay. So the algorithm stated here is what I did in our code. All right. Here. So here we have temporarily stored our inputs. So store it so that we can try to parse it first to make sure that they are numbers. And then we do the output of performing the calculations. So like this one, we multiply the first and second values, and then we divide it by 100. Now that would become our intermediate value for our second value, okay, stored value. And so yeah, goes on and on. Or else we set it as empty. So there's nothing to compute for that one or calculate. All right. So I think that pretty much sums up of what I did or how I did it for this calculator app. And so yeah, I'll be putting up this the code for this one in the GitHub repository, so you'll have a reference for this one. So I know there are still so many things, or there are so many ways that you can do this aside from how I did it. Yeah, or you can also optimize how things would be handled, like for example storing the input values and the input operators. All right. But and also you can still optimize like handling each of these uh, operations separately into their own separate methods instead of putting it all inside the send input. And so yeah, so let me know if you have any ideas on your own that could help out in improving this application. So yeah, don't hesitate to uh, tell me in the comments section. So again, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so that you get updated with our latest videos, and that would be a great uh, pleasure and help for me as I continue on creating more helpful tutorials and videos on the channel. So thank you everyone, and see you soon, and have a great day ahead. Thank you and bye bye.